So, what do you guys want to talk about?
You can call this the New World Order of Wrestling, brother. Put out the caution tape. Put out the orange cones. Acknowledge me.
Welcome to another exciting episode of A+ Wrestling here on KPHR Hamilton and on YouTube at Hutch Henry's. This is the show where we talk about all things wrestling, the week that was and the week that will be, and we are your hosts. I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, half man, half amazing, half something else. Yes, that's how many halves he has. He's Hutch. Hutch, how's it going?
It's double H, not double A. I'm not Austin Aries. Half man, half amazing, half robot, half cyborg. But perhaps we are only half YouTubes, and maybe we should start going on Twitch. Do you think we should start twitching as well? Should we double stream?
I got it. We can stream as much as we want. I've got my Twitch connected. We can get your Twitch connected. There's so much that we can connect to this bad boy. Just connect it all.
Start twitching. You know what I realized? Like, everybody was making fun of Elon because of the X thing, right? And X is his branding, like SpaceX and whatever X, right? And then he made Twitch or Twitter into X. But I realize now, like, it's TWIT. I used to get like the Twitter and the Twitch both coming up in my like most recents, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure Elon was like, this sucks, man, branding wise, with his little monkey in there. Like South African monkeys, they like stab each other. They don't play. They play drums with like knives. They're like, right? The little monkeys in his head playing the drums are like, dude, I can't have four characters with another major site that might even be better. Like, I bet you there's more Twitch users than Twitter users, because like Twitch is insane. Video game people, right?
Yeah, that's the reason why it's just X. It's one letter. It's the first thing that's going to pop up. There's a whole method to his madness and his madness to his method. And at the end of the day, some would say he's just mad.
He had that glowing sign on his building for a while that would like pulse, and like people complained he had to get rid of it. But when he first like branded as X, but the problem with going on all these multi streams is we might end up gaining monetarily. Yes, that's great, but we might become famous, you know, and then wrestlers will like come to our houses and like grab us and throw us like right into the camera. Like I Show Speed, like we'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make fun of you. Who did we make fun of hard last time? I don't know. Whoever that person is, they're going to come for us, but I'm prepared.
Jade Cargill, that's who.
I am prepared. I'm prepared for fame. This is the Southern United States version of being prepared for fame. My father's from the US, so like he's been talking to me a lot. My mom is not pleased with this direction, but I'm like, I already wear a lot of green, Mom. Like, this is working out great. Like when I pose, it looks natural. So I don't know what to say, right? So
there you go.
Hey, LA Knight, I'm ready for you.
For those of you only listening to us on KPHR Hamilton, we are live on the YouTube at Hutch Henry's every single Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Come join the chat. You can be part of the show. There's so many ways that you can be part of the show, including Facebook.com and searching for A+ Productions. Hutch, it has been a crazy week, and we're inching closer and closer to WrestleMania. I got to ask you off the top of the show, are you feeling excited for WrestleMania?
I am. I'm starting to feel it, especially because like all the stuff that I predict is like kind of slowly coming true. Like, speaking of I Show Speed and LA Knight and throwing me into the can. What did I say last week? I was like, nah, that's not going to happen.
I don't remember. I don't remember what you said. You say a lot of things. I only remember 25%. I remember as much as you take notes.
I took some notes on a phone bill today quickly for you. Okay. I'm slowly inching towards professionalism.
Yeah. Well,
I've learned that all professionals are really, they're all faking it anyways.
That exactly. You think we know what exactly we're going to be talking about each and every single week, but this week we do. We're going to be talking some SmackDown. We're going to be talking some NXT, Stand and Deliver. We're going to be talking some Raw from last night. And we're going to end the show off by previewing AEW Dynamite, at least what we know so far. But AEW Dynamite, that's the one disadvantage of doing a live show on a Tuesday. Hutch, that gives us room to, go live closer to pay-per-view day.
Yeah, we're predicting what's happening tomorrow while talking about all the shenanigans of Friday till Monday, right? By the way, we can't just leave it hanging where I'm like, I was right, and you're like, yeah, and then we go away. That doesn't happen on this show.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. We only have an hour here on KPHR.
And stop interrupting me. Anyways,
listen, we have a tight hour. It's time that we just go ahead.
Speed is not going to face LA Knight, and it's not going to be the Usos in a like 4-way dance or the tag title, whatever. It's exactly what I said. Classic WrestleMania shenanigans. It's going to be a 6-man. Speed in there. LA Knight, the Usos, and they'll be like he's going to be raising his hand with the good guys by the end, right? And classic like Horsemen. The Vision get to come out on Monday after Mania and be like, we're still champs. We didn't lose. What are you talking about? That was Speed's fault. Speed lost. Or like whatever, right? That's how they do.
Yeah.
That's how they play.
Yep.
And if I've got to choose between like Red Velvet and Jelly Roll, who I don't hate, and I'm sure there's more. There's so many celebrities right now. Speed, man. He's taking the bumps. He's kind of cool. I like the kid. I'm down.
Look,
if you're gonna force it down my throat,
there's a couple things, right? The Jelly Rolls, the Speeds,
the Yachties, the little Yachties.
Yeah, not only do they actually have an audience. This is the thing, right? And I said this way back with Bad Bunny when the whole Damian Priest stuff, like even before that, when him and The Miz and his Royal Rumble appearances, just because you don't know who these people are doesn't mean that they don't have a huge ass audience behind them. And the Speeds, the Jelly Rolls and whatnot. And so that's number one. Number two, Bad Bunny. Number two, numero dos, or as a Puerto Rican would say, numero dos. They actually give a poo about wrestling.
They do give a poo about wrestling, especially the Spaniards. YouTube, 75% audience Spanish speaking, and does very, very well there. But yeah, so okay, we're gonna branch out. We're gonna Twitch it. We're gonna monetize. We're going to make sure I'm prepared with my gun. If we do become that famous, we're going to have to get an agent, though, like an Ari Emanuel guy that can like shoehorn us into WrestleMania like Pat McAfee. And everybody's going to be pissed, but I don't care. I'm going to be the next Sylvester Stallone. Ari said so. Screw you.
There we go. That's what we're going to be doing. Right? So before we get to SmackDown and the other things that we're going to be talking about, including Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW Dynasty, anything on top of mind?
I don't know. On top of mind was that KPHR, we got our stats today between 5,000 to 6,000 listeners on the regular. So yes, you must definitely explain that I was holding a rifle earlier when I said I was going to protect myself from LA Knight. You have to tell them that because we obviously have more listeners than viewers.
Exactly. What is this? Brian Pillman circa 97.
But speaking of Brian Pillman and holding guns, I'm sure a lot of people were grabbing for their guns when, let's go straight to SmackDown, Boris, when Pac, there's the guys on Twitter who do portmanteaus of names. There you go. There's a Pac McAfee, which got to give him the Pac hair and the singlet on a Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee revealed as the voice on the phone. Oh my Lord. And
let's talk about that. First things first. Huge thing. I was shocked, but I wasn't at the same time. Look, they have Ari Emanuel. You have the Ari Emanuel thing. Then you have to think about the ESPN stuff, right? So when it happened, I was shocked, but it makes weird corporate business BS sense. Totally. A lot of people are wanting it to be Kevin Owens. A lot of people were thinking other people. In your gut of guts, who did you think it was?
I hadn't thought about it at all. I gave it a couple times. Like, it can't be Kevin Owens. That seems weird. I mean, I guess you could shoehorn that in.
Okay, here's the thing. They were supposed to kill each other at last year's WrestleMania. Kevin Owens and Randy may have forgiven each other because they both hate Cody that much more now. But I feel like you would have had to explain so much more to get to Friday than throwing in a Pat McAfee in there.
Well, I mean, if I'm really honest, just like you, I wasn't that surprised because of course it was like I thought it was Pat McAfee. If you said give me three options, I probably would have said McAfee second. Everybody thought it was Pat McAfee, Boris. No, of course I often mention on the show that I think about it as from a promoter point of view often. I'm like, hey, as a promoter, I understand. I think like this, right? It took a long time to beat into me, but I'm like, hey, can't be a mark. This kind of makes sense. And of course, with the Pat McAfee show on ESPN, with him being a former punter, with his agent being freaking like basically the head guy of WWE and TKO, like, and Rock's best buddy, and just kind of what it all makes sense corporate wise. They want to sell more tickets, but like Punk said, Pat McAfee's not selling any tickets. In fact, some people are actively saying I'm not going now. But hey, I can see it from their end. It makes sense. They're like, hey, we need a guy. We're going to put Pat McAfee in there. Now, Cody going out and doing his promo and taking out Kit Wilson, poor Kit Wilson. It does seem like everybody's upset about this. Like everybody's upset. It does seem like it was shoehorned in and that they don't think it was necessary. And in the same breath, weeks before, we're saying like, hey, this Randy and Cody thing seems kind of like boring. It seems kind of obvious. And I guess they're going to be night one because Punk and Roman are doing really well. And so, and suddenly, and in the same breath, everybody's like, this is 10, 15 years of history. And like, we don't need anybody and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I don't know what to say. I can see why.
Whoa, that's a first.
Made a first. Well, no, I have lots to say. I can see why corporate did it. In fact, there's so many haters out there, and I'm not saying angel level, right? I'm kind of on board. Pat McAfee's like meh, but it could have been worse. At least the guy can go. At least he's kind of like cool. He's popular. He's a former athlete. He's got attitude, and it could be awesome. It could end up being awesome.
Yeah, it could be. Here's the thing. This is one of the many times, and I say this a lot. Maybe I'm too much of an optimist. Maybe I'm a sucker. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I'm just simple to be sports entertained. But this is one of the many times that I'm just going to tell any listener who's all freaking out about this. Number one, tranquilo. Number two, let it play out.
Yeah, and supposedly McAfee didn't actually want to do this either. So, but like the reason I like iShow Speed, one of the reasons is the kid's taking his lumps. He's come back for more, like I was saying, Matsuda and Hogan, right? And they got the Hogan documentary coming out now. I think that'll be kind of neat. We'll see what's going on with that. Cool. And now that he's gone, they're going to be nice to him. Like, probably it's weird. But we'll see. Okay, so you've got Speed. He's taking his lumps. He's been Matsuda and come back for more. Jelly Roll. He's been Matsuda and he's had his 4 segments per SmackDown and his singles match against Kit Wilson. Poor Kit Wilson, taking all the beatings from people. Cody and Jelly Roll.
You know what? Kit Wilson.
Oh my God, tag team Jelly Rhodes. Sorry.
1 second. You just completely derailed my train of thought. And that was great. That was awesome. Now I remember Kit Wilson. He is becoming the male Chelsea Green.
Yeah, man, it's great. And wait, The Miz, I can totally see him teaming with The Miz. I'm loving this. Like, that can be a tag team. Miz just will have to have his same silhouette, his same outfit, but he can wear more pastels, right? He can change the color scheme, and then Kit can just still do his thing, because we don't need Kit going with like reds and golds and blacks, right? Because his thing is the pastel. But Miz can still keep his whole aesthetic. Think drag queen, mate, right? Same silhouette. We're just gonna change your whole color palette here, okay? Well, let's go. It's Kit and Miz and Kit, whatever you want to call it. Miz and Kit and Miz and let's go, girls, boys.
Bring out RuPaul. Let's effing do this.
Anyways, where were we? Oh yeah, Jelly Rhodes. Oh wait, no, wait. Okay, wait. So I show Speed. I like Jelly Roll. You know what? Miz and Kit versus Jelly and Danhausen. Jelly Rhodes. You missed it there, Thornton. It should have been Jelly Rhodes. But yes, Jelly Hausen. Dan Jelly. There's a portmanteau Dan there. Jelly? Work on it, Phillington. What'd you say, Boris?
I forget what I said.
Okay. Anyways, McAfee's taking his lumps too. Did the Gunther thing. Plus, like he's corporate. He's in radio. He's in entertainment. He's been on the mic, on the stick there at commentary. He's done his thing. He's a WWE guy. He understands some of the nuance, right? That's the problem with the Travis Scotts and the Summerfests. The guy who actually played Ari, even though we have the real Ari now here in real life controlling all this stuff. Those guys didn't have it, right? It's a circus. It's a gong show to them, and they don't watch, and they don't know the nuance. McAfee knows it. Speed knows it. Jelly Roll knows it. And I'll be damned. I bet you Red Velvet knows it too. Either that or Michaels is just like, it's something. I don't know what's going on with them. I guess maybe she's a Bible thumping Christian and funny, and he's just like, I like this broad. Let's do it. Right. Maybe she's got bow legs too. Let's look. Have we ever seen them walking together?
No, we haven't. So there's that. Next thing that happened on SmackDown, we had Aleister Black versus Matt Cardona. Black wins. This was kind of a throwaway thing. Both guys not really doing too much as we lead into WrestleMania.
Yeah, like Aleister Black doing his Killer Cross thing. I like it, except he's not big enough. Cross was big, and like when he like whispered to you in your ear, he had a little more gravitas. I don't know, man. Freaking Tommy End was cool. Alistair NXT was cool. Even early Malachi was cool, but I don't know. He seems to have like it's all diet. It's not Ozempic with these guys. It's diet, and he's like thinned out. He's leaned out. He looks weird, and I don't buy it anymore. I really did for a long time. They've missed the window. It's amazing. Windows really exist. I used to be like, oh, it's like it's really
look
true.
At Chris Hero, your buddy.
Yeah, my buddy. Freaking yeah, Windows, man. Do you think Gargano's going to create a new window here in NXT? I stand and deliver. I can't remember if he won the match. I actually left the room for a few moments and came back. He didn't. Okay, I didn't think he.
We'll talk about that in a second.
That's right. I did actually see the end with Miles holding it up, and then the interview. He just recently had an interview where it's like with Salcedo that he's surprisingly down to earth, great dude, probably going to be very successful. You know, not your average pretty boy Austin Theory. We'll see what happens.
Rhea Ripley versus Minchin also happened. I guess Rhea Ripley's got to go through the entire group before she faces Jade Cargill. How do you feel about the whole Jade Cargill Rhea Ripley match at this point?
Yeah, another person who's like leaned out, but that's because of her back, right? Trying to carry not as much weight. I don't know what's going to happen there. I have no idea what's going to happen there. Like you would think Rhea should win, and then the weird ambiguousness, is that a word, with EO, but obviously she's going to take on Asuka. I hope they announce that this week. They had to, because Asuka did her like promo, right? Ever since she switched to the like clown makeup, it would like just so much creepier. I love it.
Well, that's more vintage Asuka, vintage Kana, right? Like it's
I guess so, but also really vintage Kana. Like she's did like no makeup at all, like in the like Gamora days and things like that. And I don't know, but yeah, like I like it. And as much as I would like to see EO versus Asuka one-on-one, if I had to pick, I'd love to get Julia on the card, just because everybody else seems to be there defending their titles. Right. I mean, the tag title on the other side, not the Not Vision one, is that?
I have defended? A feeling tag title on the other side, on the men's side, on the Raw side, no, because the tag champs are in a 6-man tag.
The Raw side is the Vision, but on the SmackDown side, it's the
6-team cluster F.
Really? So like Priest and Ron are in a 6-team thing? I didn't realize.
We'll touch the cards in a little bit. I could be wrong. We'll touch the cards in a little bit. Next thing that happened,
you need a match for the SmackDown before Mania, right? For that night before they go into it. So
that's making a big event. Where I was going with this
out of the U.S. title match, but still,
you talked about Julia. You know, I have a feeling that Julia's going to have a match the night before SmackDown. They need something on that SmackDown to kind of wet your lips a little, as they like to say.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I'm not sure. Quickly, if you look up what's going on with Priest and Ron Killings for their title at Mania, if it's been announced yet. I don't know what's going on with that, because
I'm looking at the cards. Right now.
Because then every time...
No, you don't have anything right now.
All right, cool. Well, we'll see what happens there. Since we already touched on Stand and Deliver a little bit, congratulations to Lola Vice, my gal, from AAA, doing great on winning the NXT Women's Championship. Of course, the 4-way at the end, not that great. I don't know. Ricky's not growing. I don't know, man. Saints is not doing it for me these days, but I did enjoy the long-term team up between him and Ethan Page, and of course the well-deserved winner here, right? And I like the angle where he was like, I'm an original, this is my home, you guys are all from the indies or whatnot, you know, I'm homegrown, and they had to put the title on him, but we'll see what happens there.
We'll touch on Stand and Deliver in a second, because I do have a question for you. Uncle Howdy, Tama Tonga. Uncle Howdy quickly wins. Tama Tonga and the MFTs seem to be some infighting. They give the lantern back, and the peasants rejoice.
Well, we got 10 seconds till we hit the 20-minute point here, so I will just say, who knows? We'll see what happens. I hear they're going to have a match. Hopefully they do something with Tama. I do like all the MFTs, but together as a group, they're not really doing it for me. But they're all very talented guys. I'm sure something will happen with them in the future.
Yeah, exactly. What else did we see? We saw Sami Zayn's reaction on SmackDown, getting the boos, being called Sammy Hogan with the live audience. Very interesting stuff here. People love Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, like it's weird. They must know. Like we keep like, what's wrong? They must know that they were doing this, that they're making him smarmy, because even though Trick's the heel, he's so hugely over, and everybody knows that Carmelo has like put in the work and has finally gotten over. Like he wasn't getting over really, and then this U.S. title run and the whole Dragunov stuff, it really got him over. Like at least far more than he was previously. So everybody feels kind of like jilted because of this. And yeah, so now we've got Cody and we've got Sammy, and they're both like getting kind of booed. The same way they must know the pipe bomb from Punk. Like they probably didn't tell him. They know what
they were doing with that.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't say, hey, go mention ticket prices. But they also, it's not like this is them admitting it. This is them letting him do what he wants. So they must know how people feel, and this is kind of a way of them now being able to bring down tickets or do what they want. I don't know what to say, but like they're not dumb. They know that this is happening, and it's not Vince. Vince tries to push against what is things don't go the way he wants, and he's like, "Oh, that's a surprise. They're bored." Oh, well, he tries to change it, right? WWE kind of goes with it. If they change it, they change it in post, right? they change it from you effed up to like holy shit or whatever.
Yeah. That's one. The former regime, they were more, if it was an organic reaction or an organic something, they would kill it as fast as they can because it's not what they wanted. But if it was John Cena, or like, for example, right, they're going to push it down your throat because it's their idea and this is what the fans want.
Yeah, but they pivoted.
With that said, sometimes Hutch, sometimes I always felt like, the me's and the you's, the you's and the me's, the you's and the I's, the us's that listen to these types of podcasts and radio shows on KPHR, where we're just so into it sometimes that we are sometimes just a step separated from the casual, I'm using air quotes, average, using air quotes again, fan.
Yeah, I guess so. You're probably right.
Right.
I don't know. I'm interested to see where some of these things are going to go. I'm like you said, we're gonna let it play out, right?
We're gonna let it play out. Now, let's talk about the main event of SmackDown, which saw Damian Priest and R-Truth versus The Miz and Kit Wilson for the WWE Tag Team titles. Saw a lot of shenanigans and curses and Danhausen. I actually really, really love this.
Yeah, this was the best part of the show. Was this really the main event? No, wasn't it? Didn't they do US with Trick at the end, or was that?
Yeah, you're right. Actually, you're right.
Okay, but still, though, those were the only two parts of this show that were worth watching. I don't know. That was pretty good. I like Damian and Ron as the tag champs. It gives them something to do. Damian's a little bit hurt and recovering from stuff. Ron's getting old, but everybody loves him. So they just take the pressure off each other, and you've got something for Mania here, right? This is great. So yeah, and of course, Miz and Ron used to be tag partners for a long time, and I do like me some Kit Wilson. But we'll move on to the very end here, where the Trick Williams, actually holding the U.S. title up at the end?
He was holding it. He was, as they say, standing tall at the end of the show with the U.S. title.
What do you think's going to happen at Mania there?
He's going to win.
You think Trick's going to win?
I don't know if Carmelo's going to cost him, but Trick Williams is going to get his win on the big stage to set up a summer feud with Carmelo Hayes.
This is too bad. Like, it feels like...
My other question for you, how much longer can they keep Trick Williams heel?
Oh, for probably for a good little while now. Yeah, like he's got to be delusional, right? He part of his heel persona is like, I'm amazing, people love me. So the fact that people are loving him, it just proves him right. He's not like, that's right, right? He needs to be in some way humbled, or he needs to go rock. He needs to turn naturally without having to change his personality. But I don't think they should rush it. I do think, though, remember a few years ago when Jericho and Owens were doing their whole thing with the list and the best friends, and they switched their program from the world title to the US title. And I feel like that's what they've done here with this, because the real way, I'm surprised that they put the title on Sammy. I'm sure that because it's a US title, they did it.
They did it, I'm sure, to give Trick Williams the win on the big stage. He's kind of like their, beside Oba, he's the big guy on SmackDown. So
this might be an indicator to me that Sammy might not be winning a world championship, or that they have some plans moving forward for the year and things like that. I don't know. But the bottom line is, this program for me only really gave emotional investment if Sammy, at the beginning of the year, coming out saying, I'm going to win the world title, my son, how many times do you want it, daddy, like all that stuff, right? And Trick being like, this is easy. He's, you need to be humbled, Trick, and I'm a veteran and you don't know how hard this is. And Trick being like, what are you talking about? This is gonna be easy. This is gonna be easy. No problem. Watch, look at my pops, look at everything. Exactly what I was just saying a moment ago about how he's constantly validated. So if it really worked, it would have been Trick winning the world title before Sammy, or somehow even involving Sammy, screwing him over for the title. That's how it would have been really emotionally investing, is if Trick won the title and then it's like, hey, I'm the champ, hey, Sammy, in your face, and Sammy hasn't won it. And then Sammy, altruistically turns heel, like being crazy and like getting his title back. And that's your double turn for Trick to turn babyface, because now Sammy thinks he's babyface, but he's actually a bad guy who has like cheated to win the title. I mean, like, I finally got mine. And he's like, see, I got mine. But like the people are booing him. And then Trick automatically turns babyface, not because of his attitude changing, but because he's been screwed over and people feel sympathetic for him. They're like, hey, that's our boy. Whoop that. You didn't whoop that Trick. You cheated that Trick. Screw you, Sammy.
Yeah. I can see that. I can totally see that. I like that, actually. But then
late as now, so awful.
At this point, what's next for Sami Zayn?
Losing? That's what you said.
Then what? Back to step one?
I don't know. What's Kevin Owens doing, man? Should go put on some flip-flops and play with your kid. Get a shave. Do something. I don't know. I'm not interested. If they're not
7-foot monster.
There are so many opportunities for Sammy to be healed. Like, nobody wants to see good guy Sammy anymore.
Okay, one of the theories you had with Sami Zayn was, similar to the Mercedes Zero Belts Monet now, right? She's in the dump. She's going to go through it. She's going to have a crash out, and then she's going to challenge for the title. And you had a very similar scenario at one point with Sami Zayn doing that. Maybe this is the beginning of that. Maybe this is the beginning of Sammy going heel, because it's like, I lost because you guys turned your back on me, blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
Yeah, no, all of my scenarios with Sammy are him winning, but like, basically having to somehow cheat to win, and then being like, yeah, like wanting to be like, I did it. And people being like, yeah. And then it starts his whole, like, Sammy will be putting this hat back on, right? His conspiracy man hat. And Johnny Knoxville will be coming out and being like, hey, I told you. And they'll be buddies. Back in time. I don't know what to say. I'm sick of talking about Sammy here. Let's move on.
Let's move on to some NXT. You already talked about Lola Vice beating Kendall Gray and champion JC Jane to become the NXT Women's Champion. Then we saw Los Americanos versus the Vanity Project for the NXT Championships. The Vanity Project retains, and this was a crazy match. Ooh.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's obvious. Like, if you watch AAA, there was no Los Americanos and no Lola Vice. So everybody who says all these shows are pre-taped, you're crazy. They were obviously there live, and that's why they were not on the AAA broadcast. So you conspiracy people. But no, this was great. Vanity Project, sure. I don't think that's going to last for too long. We'll see who ends up lasting out of these guys. Same thing with Dark State. They're seeing what works. But
exactly. That's, again, reminder. This is what NXT is about. Sometimes I feel like we have to take a step back and remember that NXT is just developmental to a certain extent. They have to be TV ready, but NXT is still a playground where you can throw a bunch of ish to the wall and see what sticks with these people, see what character sticks. Look at Tony D. We'll talk about that in a second, but Tony D is a perfect example of this, right? Changing up his character, seeing what works, what doesn't work, what's cheesy, what's not cheesy, what could possibly work on the main roster, and running with it.
Yeah, man. And I'm really enjoying what's happening on AAA as well. That also happened Saturday. Fraxium down there, but on different teams as part of like the Trios, like World. I guess they're going to try and do some kind of a tournament, WCW, TNA kind of like World Cup tournament thing, but it's going to be awesome. I think Axiom has a future without the mask. He is his voice and the way he is. We've all seen A-Kid before the mask was on. He's a good looking guy.
Great looking guy.
Yeah,
like,
lots going on.
He's kind of like Beast Mordos. Like these guys should not be behind a mask.
Like Monet's obviously in love.
That Spanish lisp that he has, it's just perfect.
Yeah, man. It's like,
and
we'll see.
Here's the thing, though. I'm surprised that people who know who Axiom is in Mexico would even come close to cheering him. You know, the whole, Spanish conquistador, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Well, what can you do? It's the modern age, man. No one really cares anymore. Although I was in Greece a couple years ago, and like we're talking, okay, so like the Greek mythology, when the Romans came in and destroyed everything and conquered, like when we think of Romans like 3,000 years ago or whatever. So when they came in,
hold on. When Romans had their reign. You're listening to A+ Wrestling here on KPHR.
Yeah. So that stuff was like 3,000 years old to them. So they were coming in and destroying it all. So we're talking like 7,000 years. And I'm talking to a guy in Greece and he's got like the little pin on, it's like very, it's like freaking Born Identity or like Da Vinci Code kind of stuff on his jacket. We're talking, he's explaining what his pin was. He's one of the like the Brothers in Arms or like whatever, the Bookmen or, the Da Vinci Code guys that go back all the way through time, the Masons. And we mentioned something and like he got this look of like anger. Like when you mention the wrong football team to someone, or you mention the wrong Ireland to a guy who's from the north, and you're like, oh, you're from the south. Like where they want to like that look where they want to kill you quickly, and he's like, he got axiom gravitas. He suddenly was like, his answer was like very serious. Like these people still take that grudge, man. They're like, oh man. But in Mexico, I don't think as much.
Yeah, Zarya versus Sol Ruca was next. Sol gets the win. This one is an interesting choice. Do you think they're dropping the ball with Zarya, or do you think they have a bigger picture, bigger plan for her?
I don't know. Do you think? Well, I actually didn't watch that match. It's the one match that I didn't. Actually, that's a lie. I didn't watch much of Tatum Paxley and Blake Monroe. It's nothing against the women. It was just the timing of it all. But who do you like? I think Zarya needs a little more time down there. They love Sol Ruca. They don't want to pin her. Like, who's the better worker right now?
Sol Ruca's she's destined to make the trip up. But in NXT, typically speaking, when you lose, that's when they get called up. So I was a little shocked that Zarya got the W. So let me segue into this question for you. I was going to ask you, you know what? Let's put a pin on that. I'll ask you at the very end, and that's in terms of call-ups. So yeah, Zarya, let's see what happens. Again, I'm in a wait-and-see position. Sol Ruca, she's got superstar.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like a fool here. I told you it was the one match I didn't watch. I saw the end where they were doing a replay of the Soul Snatcher and Soul on the ramp, and Zarya in the ring scowling. Did Zarya win, and that was like a post-match beatdown? Oh, nope. Okay. You said Zarya got the win. You must have just like said it in passing. So, just now when you were talking, you're like, Zarya gets the win and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like you just said, you probably weren't thinking. Okay, good. I want to make sure. Good, because I was going to say, like Chris Jericho, when he talks about his debut against The Rock, he hates that when The Rock said stuff back to him, he went on like, and he got his Lenny Lane face. And he was like, and he's like, that's not how I should have reacted. Now that I'm a tenured veteran, I know that was the wrong kind of heat. I feel like that's what Zarya was getting in the ring, just like looking and scowling. And it was like the wrong vibe for what she should be. She hasn't reached her like Raquel Rodriguez 3 years on the main roster stage where Raquel's getting soon, right? Zarya will get there. Where soon the fact that she's mean looking will actually feel like she's mean. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah. Johnny Gargano versus Miles Bourne. We talked about this earlier. Miles Bourne retains the North American Championship. A lot of potential for Miles Bourne and Johnny Gargano. Do you think it was a one-time match, or do you think he might stick around NXT here and there for a little bit?
I don't really know. We'll see what happens, but it's good to see him working.
Yeah. And that's at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Women's North American title match, Blake Monroe versus Tatum Paxley. Tatum Paxley gets the W here. And then this leads us into the main event, which was for the NXT Championship. Tony D'Angelo versus Ricky Saints versus Ethan Page versus Joe Hendry, who was your champion, as Tony D'Angelo is the officially first Grand Slam champion of NXT. There you go. This leads me into my big question for you, Hutch. Do you think we're going to see those post-WrestleMania call-ups? And if so, whom?
Oh, like, are you, I wasn't really thinking about this either. You thinking Hendry on the main roster? You thinking Page or Saints on the main roster, eh?
You know what? At this point, Page and Saints have nothing left to prove or do down in NXT. Neither does Joe Hendry, but you need some form of a star power in NXT. And I think Joe Hendry has that star power that CW is going to like. I think you can get rid of Saints and Page. I also think that Blake Monroe has the ability to make her way up to the main roster at this point.
You know, I like all four of these people that you just mentioned, but at the same time, I could see them all being just like lifelong mid-carders up there, man. And it's really too bad. Like they have the zhuzh, they have the stuff. Like Page is amazing, but like I just WrestleMania main event, they need to put the rocket on him and let him go. Like, I don't know, is it him? When you talk to a Bruce Pritchard type or a stuffy Michael Hayes type, and they think they're freaking know-it-alls, and then in the end run you hate it because they're freaking right. You're like, I have a lot of people in that like that in my life, like my partner at Demand Lucha. I'm like, but fine, and then I'm like, you were so right about that. I hate it, you know. So, you know, like Ethan Page, we all love Page, but is he still in his own way? You know, has he like when like we already mentioned RuPaul. If you watch Drag Race and they were always like, we want to see the real you. You're gonna get past, and like they spend so much time on their polish and their thing, they don't really want to cry their makeup off, you know. But once you cry your makeup off, then or you like act instead of being polished and perfect, you dress up like a clown and look like an ass, and then you start to show yourself a little bit. You're not worried about looking like a fool, so then people get to know you. It's like, does Paige need to like stop the whole like Ethan Page, Ethan, all ego? Like, I don't know. Something needs to be like change. And that's what like I feel like the behind the scenes smug guy would tell you know, Michael Hayes, like he says about Chelsea Green. We all think she's amazing, but it's like, well, I don't know. Something's not right about her. She's not all the way there. You know, she's not quite right. So I don't know. Perennial mid-carders for all those people, I think. Even Blake Monroe, maybe. It's crazy.
I think Blake Monroe has the best potential to make it to the, you know, the like a main event slot. But Ricky Saints, I think he's a perennial main carder. Ethan Page, he has a chance to make it to the main event. But yeah, I agree with you, man. For the most part.
Like they could all be. But they're all like at LA Knight stage, right? They're all just like you can't like upper mid card, but like not quite there. Like, I don't want to say Billy Gunn. Like, what's that segment on Wrestle Talk where they're like, is blank better than Billy Gunn? Like, Billy Gunn is the like low mid tier.
The Mendoza line like of baseball.
Yeah,
the
Mendoza line. You know, like the Zach Gowans and the freaking what's the guy who won the women's briefcase with Carmella? Next night.
Chin.
Yeah, okay, like these guys, right? Like there's people that's below Billy Gunn, right? Is Boogeyman better than Billy Gunn? You're like, oh, I don't know, maybe, you know. It's like, but yeah, they're like that guy, right? They're like just there, but not quite there. They're like the Chris Benoits, and they might win it one day, but you can see them.
It's just wrestling, man. Forever. At the end of the day, you just never know who's going to get over. Sometimes, like let's be honest, right?
Yeah. So I keep trying to pivot to AAA there on the Saturday night because every time I'm like, oh yeah, that's what we're talking about with Saturday night. And bam, there was some good stuff happening on AAA. You should definitely go check it out. And this week, you're going to be seeing Vikingo against Penta. I think it's an obvious win for Penta because, we're going into Mania, but should be a great match. And there might be fallout, something going on there. And you should check it out at Hutch Henry's. My reviews are happening still. And they're hot. They're great. They're amazing. Check them out.
I also do believe that we're going to see Vikingo make a run in at that ladder match in some shape or form. I don't know. There's something about it. There's something about it. Something about it, especially now with Mysterio there. I don't know. I have a feeling we'll see him at WrestleMania.
There's been complaints about Vikingo. Escobar's on the alumni roster now. Freaking Alberto El Patron just got arrested for domestic abuse. So, who knows what's going on down there? But I did make a theory earlier. You should go check out the review I did this week of El Fiscal becoming the new Kane, like a Kane type character, and how they can do it. So we'll check that out. We'll talk about it next time. But let's move on, I guess, all the way to Monday, because Raw was okay. Raw was okay.
Raw was okay. CM Punk kicked
20
things
minutes.
off
Hit me with the Raw.
Raw kicked off with CM Punk with Pipe Bomb 2.0, calls out TKO, calls out everyone, says ticket prices are too high. What you make of this?
Like I was saying, they obviously told him to go out and do what you want, pipe bomb it up. Everybody's like, oh, it's not as good as the original Pipe Bomb or anything like that. But in reality,
it's not.
But we'll see. This is where I was going to get at. The first Pipe Bomb was impactful, changed things, was like, whoa, it was different, it was new. This one was kind of explosive. Once you watch it 2 or 3 times, took him a while to get going. This took a while for Punk to get steaming and moving. He was like Greg Valentine in the Royal Rumble. I was like, took a little while. Gorilla Monsoon's like, it takes him 20 minutes just to get warmed up. But then bam, by the end, it was hot. People were boiling. And this one was more explosive. It told us the things we weren't expecting him to say. And obviously they didn't say go out and mention the ticket prices and go out and mention what you want, but they did say go out and do your Punk thing. And once again, you got to think promoter the same way that Pat McAfee is brought in. They're like, how are we going to move tickets? Punk's a firebrand. Punk brings attention to himself. How do we capture what they were talking about, that Attitude Era feeling that McAfee was talking about? Just let Punk go out there, give him 12 minutes to do his thing. Let him say whatever the hell he wants. That was probably some person's genius idea. And Punk went for this. He might have even got chastised backstage, but like he's saying, he's he can burn it all. He can, what did he say? I can sink it all because I know how to swim. I can burn it all down, whatever he said. You can't fire him. Yeah. He's in the main event. He's the champ in the main event. You're not gonna fire the guy. And he's got enough FU money. It doesn't matter. He's like, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I liked it. You know what? We talk about this all the time, and I think a lot of the IWC forgets this, and they just criticize WWE because it's WWE. But when they blur the line of work and kayfabe and truth and real life, that's always the best TV, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess so. You think this is going to be on Unreal? Who knows? Do you got a rundown of the whole night?
At this point.
What's going on after
Punk?
Man.
Punk leaves? I'm going. Punk leaves. This led us into the iShow Speed stuff, which directly leads into Austin Theory versus LA Knight, which this is the setup for the 6-man tag at WrestleMania 42.
Yeah, man. I dug all this. And I'm digging iShow Speed. And the Danhausen was later on, right? No, Danhausen was in this match? No. Wasn't. That's later on with the tag match. Sorry, I got confused. Danhausen was at the beginning, and he's like, "Hey, get rid of my curse. What are you doing to me right now?" And they showed LA Knight. So yeah, Danhausen is involved in this. But yeah, I'm right into this. I love me some iShow.
Finn Balor. Yeah, let's talk about Finn Balor. Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania, but it's not necessarily Finn Balor. It is the Demon himself.
Yeah, I wonder if the Demon's gonna have a better haircut. Finn Balor's looking weird. He's looking weird. He's getting weirder all the time.
He's getting older, man. He's getting older.
Still, it's like when you don't realize your eyebrows are too bushy, or your grandmother starts dyeing her hair a slight off blue or something. You're like, what's going on? It's like when you don't realize something. Finn Balor doesn't realize hey, you're getting very old man UK gangster hair. What is going on with the bowl cut here? What is with this? I don't get it. But the Demon, Can they revive the Demon?
I think so.
New. I do like when they give him pre-filmed promos. He's good with direction. He's not very good live on the mic. He's gotten well over his accents. It was a huge barrier before. He enunciates a lot better. He's much better with his passion and his delivery, but he is not an actor. It's like, I am Finn Balor and I'm acting. I'm acting better than I've ever acted in my career, but I am still acting. His early New Japan stuff when he was challenging Okada and trying to get the world title from the junior ranks, and it never quite happened. Ospreay was the one who actually did it, but he was following the steps of DeWitt and DeWitt and couldn't do it. And Kenny as well. He was the Bullet Club guy that couldn't do it. And he had a lot of passion then, and it was without direction, right? So he was able to just kind of say what he wanted, and he was minimal, and it worked. But now he's being given scripts and words and direction, and he is not an actor, man. So it's not working. So I like when they go backstage with it, and this will be a fun match.
Becky Lynch and AJ Lee had a sit-down interview confrontation type of segment. I'm liking this. This should be a fun match. Just let these girls go and let's see what they can do.
Yeah, again, Becky, very good, a little overactory, but I like her passion. And AJ, better than her first two promos. Once again, a pre-recorded segment so they can give direction, and AJ did a lot better. And I like the fact that it was just calm and straightforward. And then it's like the mature version of her psycho little girl persona. Now she just says things matter-of-factly, she's been matured and has been around. And then at the end, she just goes, bye. And this is the second time she's kind of had a promo like that. So I guess this is the direction they're going to go. Mature psycho Valley Girl thing. But I like it. It's going to be a fun match.
We saw Bayley versus Lash Legend. Again, this is just more setup for the 6-team women or however many women are in this match or teams are in this match.
But Bayley needed a win. She lost to Flammer. She lost to some other schmuck. She lost to somebody else. She's been losing lately. Bayley needed a win.
Win's important. W's are important. All right, then we saw Seth Rollins and Gunther go at it.
Okay,
does this match make sense to you?
Only because backstage
Paul Heyman.
When Gunther was talking with Heyman, Heyman was like, "Thank you," and Gunther it was very long-winded, and Gunther was like, "Oh, well, this and well with that," and he's like, "I think you eventually." I remember I started to get distracted. I was just like, oh, "Come on, get on with it." And I think he was all like, "You're something along the line of your thanks isn't enough." I thought the only way that this makes sense is if Gunther is all like, "You now owe me a favor." They put this over last year really big, the Paul Heyman favor, right? It's going to be like a prize in a video game soon. You've unlocked a favor from Paul Heyman, right? Get yourself on. It's like a Money in the Bank briefcase, level stuff, right? So I thought, now, am I wrong? He did at the very end of that whole backstage rigmarole. Yeah. He said, "You owe me a favor," right?
No, he kind of said, if you're basically you owe me a favor.
Did he kind of say it, or did he say
those words?
I should have rewatched some of these segments. I remember watching it.
He didn't say the words, but he hinted at it.
That's too bad. He should have said the words, because Punk said the word. He said it over and over and over, and it was like a prize. It was like a thing. It was like a contract. It was something he had over Heyman. You owe me a favor. And so Gunther should have leaned into that. He just was like, "Well, what do you know? You got my thanks. Well, I don't need money. I don't need anything." Remember, I said this last week, right? Gunther's all about the ring general. He's all about honor and respect and respecting the ring. He doesn't need money. He's already been world champ. He's Gunther. 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 I saw the clip of me doing that last week. It made me laugh. So he should have been like, "You know what you owe me? If you want me to fall through on this, if you want me to keep going, you owe me a favor." And that favor should, I guess, somewhere be along the lines of getting his hands on Brock Lesnar, or another opportunity to build his retirement legend killer thing. I don't know, whatever favor he wants. Or maybe his favor is when his guy gets the title, Gunther gets a shot out of nowhere. Who's the champ right now? Punk. So who's going to beat Punk? Somebody could be Roman. There you go. Maybe there you go. Roman wins. And then it's Paul's talking with Roman. He's like, you have to get Roman to give me a title shot. He's like, "Well, I bet you're still the advocate. You're still the tribal chief. You're still the wise man. Go." So that could be the way they're going to go. But he didn't lean into it. It was all ambiguous. Like you said, he should have been very straightforward. You owe me a favor. anytime. And boom, once Punk loses the title to Roman, which I don't think he's going to do. But if that was the way they were going to go, then that would make sense.
Penta, Dragon Lee, and Javon Evans versus Los Americanos, with Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, and Penta getting the win. This was just a big setup to add Rey Mysterio into the ladder match at WrestleMania for the IC title. I'm liking this. This is why I think Vikingo is going to show up.
Yeah, man. And like, perhaps you're right, but I feel like they've been waiting to like see if people are cleared in time. Obviously, Rey Mysterio's
they are
cleared enough with his rib to be able to be involved in this match. Obviously, as a 6-man ladder match, he doesn't need to be in the match constantly, right? Boom. So I think same thing with Gunther. They were waiting to see. Hernia's not nothing to screw around with, and Braun Breaker's the future of the company. They don't want to rush it, but they want to maybe see, can he come back? There was another one too where I was like, they're waiting to see if this can happen. Belair, right? And then Rhea's the pivot. There've been lots of pivots, so we'll see what happens here with that. This should be a fun match.
We got about 10 minutes left here. Got about 10 minutes left here on KPHR Hamilton. We are talking all things wrestling, specifically Monday Night Raw from Monday night, I should say. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus B-Fab and Minchin happened. This was just a big setup for a pull-apart with Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. I like this. Again, little things just to set up some heat for the match. I'm liking this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, this match better be good, because we might not be having a women's world title match at WrestleMania anymore. I mean, yes, I just mentioned injuries.
Exactly what I was going to lead into.
Yo, man.
Stephanie McCare blindsided Liv Morgan, smacking her head straight into Roxanne Perez. Did you hear that smack? Did you see that goose spot? Like that bump? It is a nasty looking goose egg on Liv Morgan's head. Yeah. And they're officially, both Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan, as of this morning, are on concussion protocol.
The quantum universe is in the favor of Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel Rodriguez has no match at Mania. We've all been like, what's going on with Raquel? She just got all this and nothing, and bam, bam, bam. Both of these broads are going to be concussed, out of commission, and Raquel's going to swoop in. And the same, she's going to John Morrison it. They're going to be like, Benoit's not here. Well, Punk was supposed to win the ECW. Morrison, you're in there, and we can't have Punk win. We got to swerve fans are going to expect it. Morrison, you're winning. So Raquel Rodriguez wins the world title after Vaquer. And if wrestling was real, then this is great. Vaquer's just like, bam, keep talking about my mother, puta, and you broke my leg earlier this year, all this stuff, puta, damn you, I don't care. You're concussed. I'll see you at SummerSlam. Yeah. So there you go. I'm good.
Yep. This leads us into Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar to end the night, a quote-unquote contract signing that never actually happened. This seemed rushed, but this was great. This is damn good. Man, Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. But this is the interesting part. WWE earlier today on ESPN released the official night cards for Saturday and Sunday WrestleMania. Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar are in the first hour of WrestleMania Night 2, and we know it's the first hour because that is going to air live on ESPN in the US of A. So there you go, Brock Lesnar, Oba Femi, Night 2 of WrestleMania, but we'll probably open the show because they're going to be in the first hour of ESPN's airing of WrestleMania 42.
You know how Brock Lesnar roll? You know how we roll?
Match, out. I'm going back to Canada.
It's the opposite of Ricky Bobby. If you ain't last, you're first. If you ain't first, you're last. I don't know.
Yep.
I get it.
Yep. Yeah, it's something. It's something. But yeah, huge match there. Really, this is probably the best. One of the best. Okay. I personally think that Punk and Roman is the best setup match at WrestleMania right now. Even with all of my qualms of everything being a promo, that match has been set up well. I think Oba and Brock, Night 2 main is, yes, they're the main event of the main event of the main event of WrestleMania. The second best setup match is Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, and not from lack of trying with with Randy and Cody. But yeah, it's great. And it didn't require much setup. You know, like they're trying with the other ones. This one was just smoldering and bubbling and people want to see it, you know, just gotta, all it is entrances and people explode. Like there's not much going on here. And we're all like salivating like dogs. We're like, give me it into my veins with the Obafemi Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was WWE Monday Night Raw. Hutch, we're going to jump into some AEW in the last few minutes of this radio show on KPHR Hamilton and on YouTube at Hutch Henry's AEW Dynasty, Sunday, April 12th, live from Vancouver at the Rogers Arena. We only have about 6 matches announced so far. For the Women's World Championship, we have Tekla and Jamie Hayter.
Tekla over, but this will be fun. Hopefully, Hayter hits her really hard because that's what she does best.
This is going to be a hard-hitting match. Honestly, I think these two women are going to beat the living heck out of each other, and I'm really excited for this match. What else do we have? We have a singles match. Darby Allin versus Andrade El Idolo. If Allin wins, he will get a future AEW World Championship match.
This is going to be awesome, too. I'm thinking, like, could Andrade go over? Who knows? Once again, you never really know what's going on with AEW, but I guess Darby should go over. Darby can take the title from MJF, right? Or is it going to be Ospreay? Like, Ospreay. Who knows what's going on? But Andrade over. AEW is my, like, spirit animal where I just say what I want instead of what I think. Okay, so Andrade over.
You're 50-50. You're 50-50 on this one. Continental Championship, Jon Moxley versus Will Ospreay, not the Offspray.
No, not the Offspring either. This is not for the Continental Championship, right?
This is for the Continental Championship.
It is? Okay, I'm hoping Offspray over. Offspray over, baby. He should win all. He should win the Owen. He needs to win the C2. He needs to win all of it. I don't know. But, yeah. Ospreay.
World Tag Team Championship match, FTR versus Cope and Cage.
I think Cope and Cage happening.
You think so?
Yeah, like they got to win the title so they can, because he's got to finish off in October here in Toronto for his last match or whatever.
Toronto.
Toronto.
Yep.
And I feel like a tag title run. Like Tony Khan wants the tag titles on the guys. He missed his opportunity with the Hardys. He wants that classic, you know, he forced Daniel Bryan to take it. He's like, please, I want you. I want to be able to say you're a former champ. I want to be able to say you're the only guy who's ever held these 5 titles or whatever, you know, he wants that stuff.
Yep. Thank you so much on that. At KPHR, thanks on that as well. We then have a singles match, Marina Shafir versus Alex Windsor.
Yeah, weird. I don't know. Alex Windsor's getting the mother's milk, man. Getting like done, choking her out or not, whatever that is, smothering her.
Smothering her.
Yes,
smothering
solid
her
flat plate of
the
a
mother's
breastbone.
milk.
Right.
Man, there we go. And then for the AEW Championship, MJF versus Kenny Omega.
Yeah, I don't think MJF is losing this. Kenny's going to be over. He doesn't need to win. He's just going to be over. He's in Vancouver and whatnot. And so, yeah, there you go. Boom. Boom. Booyah.
That's what has been announced. There we go. AEW Dynasty happening Vancouver this Sunday, April the 12th. Catch it on pay-per-view and so many other places. Check our local listings. Hutch. Been a hell of a week. It's been a hell of a week. We have so much to talk about over the next few weeks. We're going to be talking about Dynasty. We're going to be talking so much more about WrestleMania. We're going to be talking about, we need to talk about how we're going to be handling WrestleMania weekend and the lead up to that, because I typically like doing a special preview show. Oh, so much to talk about.
Yes. I think I'm going to be having a chicken that night. That's all I have planned so
Probably.
far.
Having said all that, where can we find your beautiful work, Hutch?
You can find me at Hutch Henry's and at Demand Lucha. You should definitely go to Demand Lucha right now. We just revamped the YouTube, all new categories, new stuff going on, new shorts. After a little drought of releasing stuff, you're going to be hit hard with all kinds of releases coming at you right now, and should be really fun.
When's your next show?
Next show is on the 23rd, of this month. Should be pretty cool. We got the tag team championship. Arez is back with Gringo Loco. They are defending against Fresh Air and all kinds of other shenanigans going down. Check it out at Demand Lucha on all of your socials. Everything at Demand Lucha. Type it in. We're there.
APlusProductions.com is where you can find all things about this network, all of its shows, and so much more. A Plus Productions on any of your favorite podcasting apps. Be sure to leave or subscribe and leave a review. If you just want the wrestling shows, A Plus Wrestling is what you type into your favorite podcasting app. Once again, subscribe, leave a review. We want you to be part of the conversation. Facebook.com and search for A Plus Productions because we have so many threads and so much more to keep you sports entertained throughout the week. Thank you so much for listening. It's been a great week. We'll be back next week here on KPHR. Thank you so much. Stay tranquilo, everyone.